Yo, what's up guys? This is Rise and welcome to a special video. Another cool achievement that we were able to manage to get just today is we were the first Silph legend of Silph Season 4. I have this tweet on my Twitter account if you want to go check it out or follow me there. But basically said I was first to hit Legend rank. I actually missaid it in the tweet. I said Season 3 when I tweeted it, and I didn't catch it before I posted, but it's actually Season 4. It's my personal third season of Silph, so I guess in my head, I just was thinking Season 3, but it's Silph Season 4, and got a lot of love on the tweet, and my teammates on Mesa were nice enough to retweet it, and Silph Arena as well, which is pretty cool. So I appreciate all the support. I'm going to be taking you through a tournament run I had just recently with some really epic battles. And obviously, when it comes to like hitting legend first or hitting rank whatever first, when I see people post that on Twitter, obviously in the grand scheme of things, it's more about like the postseason, right? And like where you finish. But it is a cool achievement, right? And it's cool to be proud about things you accomplish along the way, right? Along the way in the journey. For example, if someone's like the first to 60 wins in the NBA, like it's not necessarily your goal where you want to be, but it's okay to celebrate that. Or if a teammate wins an individual award, if someone wins MVP, but the playoffs are still going, it's okay to celebrate that award, even though you guys still have a bigger goal to accomplish. So I think I had some people try to like discredit, like, yeah, who cares? Like a bunch of people are going to hit legend. Shout out to Jay's fan. He's already hit legend by the time I'm making this video. I just saw it recently. And Vonnie's going to hit, everyone on this list is going to hit legend within the next month, certainly. So it's not like it matters a ton who gets there first, right? But just to hit it first is a neat little accomplishment for Silph Season 4. And all that said, we are going to get into the battle. So this is the Thunderdome tournament. This is the tournament that I plug every so often, that I try to get y'all little fellas to join. All right, sorry. Now we're getting into these battles. I had trouble loading it, so I'll kind of edit that transition. But basically, I'll pause it real quick here at the start. Basically, this is the Nemesis Cup in Silph Show 6 Pick 3 format. We're in the Thunderdome tournament going against Silent Beast first, and I won't really break down kind of my thought process on choosing my lines of 3 too elaborately. I'll kind of just go, since we've got a lot of battles that we're going to get through. But I ran a similar line of 6 here to my very first tournament, and I liked that line a lot, and I had heard some good things about Gengar from people that were trying it. So I swapped out Charizard for Gengar, and I swapped Drapion just to give myself kind of another option as a safe swap. I was using Zweilous before, but I really like Drapion in a different tournament, and I ran like 6 different teams in this cup. Some people loved this cup, some people hated it. I felt like your team, you almost always had a really like strong team advantage or team disadvantage depending on your opponent, because the teams had a lot of variety. Some teams like this first round you'll see very similar, some very different. So our opponent in this first round is Silent Beast. He's got pretty much the mirror team, except he has Poliwrath instead of Quagsire and Fortress instead of Ferrothorn. But other than that, it's all the same. We lead Walrein into Gengar game 1. This is a positive lead, I would say, for Walrein. In comes the Fortress, and what I decided to do is farm up a ton of energy and then swap in my Quag, because it takes Fortress quite a while to get to these moves. I know it's unlikely going to bait my Quag, since Quag's pretty bulky himself. And I did enough Powder Snow damage where this is pretty much in double Stone Edge range. So I go for 1 Stone Edge. I'm over farming a little bit. I go for the next Stone Edge, and we've got all that energy banked on our Walrein still. So what are they going to come in with here? They don't have a grass type, so there's really nothing that hard counters my Quagsire. I'm going to let this go because I know I live a punch, so he has to Shadow Ball me here to KO. He does go for the Shadow Ball, smart play. I spear right away. I know it was a chance he would catch, but I decided, you know what, I'll just spear right away. It actually takes out the Gengar, and there's a Poliwrath in back. I decide to bait here. And at this point, because this Poly has quite a bit of energy... Oh, actually, no. I do switch. Should be fine here. I let the first one go, which is kind of interesting. I guess I know Galv, since it's non-shadow, can take 2 punches. And I'm actually going for the discharge. This is the safe play because either I get the shield and Earthquake it, or I just get off 2 discharges. That works too. I'm like trying to overcomplicate this in the commentary, but pretty straightforward. I just get to 2 discharges. And we take out the Poliwrath for a Game 1 win. This is a 6-round tournament. Round number 1. And now we're going up against Silent Beast, game number 2. It's been a long day. Gengar lead. We're seeing the first Gengar appearance. Gengar into wall rain. So now it's the reverse situation. I immediately swap my Galv, and I'm actually met by the Fortress. And this is pretty good for my Galv, so I'm going to try and take back Switch here, if possible. I am worried about getting baited. Does a really nice job of getting off the move right before me. I let it go. It's just a mirror shot. But my move still goes off. Interesting. And this is a little uncomfortable because now I might get farmed down by something. I get farmed down by Gengar, and this is not great. Gengar with energy is so scary. I did not bring a dark type. I'm debating whether I want to shield or not. I do shield. It is a Shadow Ball. So that is a good shield. I get off my Stone Edge here, and now I'm like debating, how do I play this out? There's still a fully healthy Wall Rain in back. Do I sack my Gengar? Do I shield, try and farm down? I decide I'm going to shield. I don't think he's going to bait since I only have 1 shield left. He swaps the Wall Rain, very smart. And this Wall Rain with a shield with so much energy, I just don't think we're going to be able to take it out. Icicle Spear coming through. Could have gone for a catch there. I lost count. I'm not sure if my opponent threw right away or not. But yeah, this Wall Rain gonna have a pretty easy time here. Icicle Spear does so much damage. We have to commit to the Shadow Ball. We get to the Shadow Ball, which will KO. But unfortunately, I believe their Gengar was healthier than our Gengar. So we make it kind of close in the end, but their Gengar able to finish it off. So round 1, and we're already in a tricky situation. 1 game apiece. Game 3 to decide who wins this round. They safe swap the Wall Rain, and you know what, Galv, if you swap it into a Wall Rain, it's not super comfortable. You kind of have to go down shields to win that matchup. Or at least expend a shield yourself. So what I do is I stay in for a while, then I swap. In this way, I am still healthy for the Gengar. I'm not in a situation where the Gengar is going to farm me down this time. I'm going to bait here with the lunge, hoping I get a shield. I do get a shield, which is good. I go for a discharge here. Kind of questionable. I feel like this Gengar almost has to shield. So this is a really baitable situation that I probably should have baited. Now I'm in punch range. This Gengar has 2 moves. There's really no point in shielding. They are shieldless though, which is good for me. I come in with the Wall Rain, and there's a Poliwrath in back, and this is a little sketchy. Because an Earthquake won't one-shot. I shield the Dynamic Punch. I overfarm a little bit, maybe to just try and throw off our opponent's counting. Earthquake comes through, does a big chunk. He did 1 over. He did 1 over the Dynamic Punch, so I know he's 4 away. I lived it! He undercharged. He undercharged the Dynamic Punch. Get a couple mud shots, and our Walreign's still very healthy, so should live a Shadow Ball. And we just need a couple more Powder Snows to KO. 1, 2. And we get a hard-fought win there. In round number 1, are all the rounds going to be this tough? We shall see. Round number 2 against Party Panda. Party Panda, by the way, in this tournament, took out some huge names. Took out Abhinav, took out Hot Pocket. 2 elite battlers, 2 of the best battlers in the USA. And we're straight into it. So he's got a different team, right? Noctowl, Malamar, Crustle, Wormadam, a bunch of new Pokemon here. We're going to take the lunge. And I do get off a move here against Wormadam, which is really nice for me. And he actually shields it, so he probably was a little off on his counts there. Really no reason to shield a debuffed Aqua Tail there. Doesn't do that much. It is also a Bug Bite Wormadam, so if we look at our team, Drapion is pretty dang safe. Gengar, now I know, is pretty dang safe, except for the Noctowl. As long as it doesn't see the Noctowl, everything else, Gengar has a lot of play against. I overfarm quite a bit here. Hoping this Stone Edge KOs. It does after 1 mud shot. What's going to come in? It is the Malamar. I am able to catch what I believe to be a foul play here. And I bank a bunch of energy with my Quag. So Quag's like pretty much maxed out on energy. I let a foul play go. That's a little risky. But it works out. Get off my Icicle Spear. They shield. I don't think that was the right play to shield. I definitely let this go now since I have so much energy on my Quag. And then check this out. I know they're going to catch. So I go for Stone Edge knowing they're going to catch, but they don't catch. Catching is their only play. And it almost loses me the game here because they get to another move. And now I just have to hope that Galv, I believe it was, doesn't have a move. Wait, why am I farming down? Why did I... It's so low. Maybe I thought the Malamar was doubled up, I guess. I don't know. I felt like their only play there was catching, and then they didn't catch, which just totally caught me off guard. And almost made me, like, throw the match. And that's a huge part of this game, right? Is, like, reading what you think your opponent's going to do. And sometimes if you have someone like Party Panda, who maybe I haven't played before, maybe is a little bit newer to Silph, some of their plays might throw me for a loop where I'm not able to predict what they're going to do. And being unpredictable definitely has its advantages. So we're in a good lead here against Worm. Let's see, Bug Bite to Iron Head would be, what, 17 turns? They go for the Bug Buzz. I thought I could farm down here, but this is where getting too greedy can cost you. And now I'm forced to go down 2 shields. I do have a ton of energy, but I go down 2 shields here. And there's a dang Quagsire. There is a Quagsire. And I swap into my Quag, which is a mistake. I would have been better off lunging again and then coming in Quag. Not sure it would have mattered. I land the EQ through 2 shields since I know they're probably going to save shields for their Quag. But this is such a tough situation. He gets off the second move here. If it's a superpower, it might KO. Just a foul play. This is almost worse. I didn't want to take it outright and then just give the Quag more farm. So I give myself a few Poison Stings a farm. And I'm just going to spam off Aqua Tails. I already revealed Aqua Tail in the previous match. I combo here with Lunge. I'm hoping this is like some sort of Lunge plus CMP. And can I get to another? I cannot. Yeah. So to be honest, if I had... if I had just stayed in with the Galv there and double lunged the Quag and then let my Galv get farmed down, I might have won. Especially if I got a shield on the second lunge. That would have been, which I might have. So I think that was a winnable game. I just misplayed it in like 2 ways. First getting greedy in the lead and then swapping out against a Quag with shields down. That was just not smart. So I farmed up energy against the Galv to get some energy on my Gengar. In comes the opposing Quag. We're debuffed. I feel like there's no way he shields, so no point in baiting here. We land the EQ. I kind of want to get that last shield off of him. So I'm debating whether I want to shield. I do decide to shield. It is a Stone Edge, so I maybe could have actually lived that Stone Edge. It would have been close. I probably lived that Stone Edge. I do get the last shield, which is nice. Really nice counting by our opponent. I don't want to be shieldless. I come in with the Gengar. Gonna take out the Quag here. And uh-oh. The Noctowl makes its first appearance. And this Galv has energy and I have to shield something. But I don't shield the lunge. Perhaps a misplay there. I would think lunge maybe does more from Galv than a sky attack from Noctowl. So perhaps should have shielded that lunge. Crunch coming in. And we get fully farmed down. And now it's game over. Gengar versus Nock. And Mr. Party Panda knocks out Abhinav, knocks out Hot Pocket, and knocks out me in the same tournament. Beating, not to compliment myself, but beating 3 really renowned trainers. And now I drop down, and I've got to try and win out. I'm 1-1. I got to try and win out in this tournament. Major props to Party Panda. Made a terrific read in Game 3. And I actually swapped out, so theoretically, if it was what he was intending to do, to lure out my Quag, to open up the Noctowl and back, extremely smart play. If I had just stayed in with my Gengar against the Galv, I win the game. But, you know, normally when someone swaps a Galv, you're going to want to swap your Quag. So, yeah, just really nice play by him. And not to sound like, I don't know, not to sound like I'm discrediting him beating me or anything like that. He outplayed me. But it just goes to show, like, what was his ranking? Party Panda, 2,700 compared to number 1 ranking. It just goes to show you, like, in this game, anybody can beat anybody on any given day. It's like in sports too, right? There's a reason that they play the game. All right, now we're against Blizzard G PvP, Blizzard. And his team is very spicy, has a lot of vulnerabilities. And Rise is mad, right? Rise is coming off a loss. Rise is like, I am not going to lose anymore. So his team is pretty soft to wall rain, to be honest. His only real answer is Lantern. Lantern's his only solid answer. He baited me the first time with Weather Ball. I'm going to respect it again. This time he goes for the Energy Ball, and I think I can actually farm down here. And this should only be a Weather Ball. So I think this is a bit of a mistake by him, is letting me Powder Snow all the way down here. But perhaps, okay, B comes in. We're at a ton of energy here that we're going to spam off. We are down a shield. We get the shield back. I'm debating whether I want to keep this wall rain around but I figure the safest play is probably just get off these Icicle Spears. This should just be an X Scissor, which I should live. No, I don't live. Never mind. I come in with Drape. I go for the Aqua Tail. They catch the Aqua Tail on the Flygon. But this does enough chip damage to put it pretty much into crunch range. Does the crunch KO? It does. And now I'm simply going to force the Beedrill to expend its energy against my Drapion. And now the Beedrill is going to need 2 drill runs to take out my Quag, which it won't be able to get to before my 1 Stone Edge. So Stone Edge coming through. The Shiny Bee's trying to flex, but Quag is having none of it and takes out the Beedrill. G to the G. This is round number 3, and we take game number 1. So let's see if any adjustments are made. My wall rain is just so good against this opponent's team, and normally, sometimes I think a lot about what line I want to run. I kind of scan over their whole team, what I think is going to be best. I felt like there was really no reason to go away from this line of 3. I felt like this line of 3 was so strong. And it's the same lead here. We got baited the first time. I go for my spear right away. He does sneak. So 7, 8. And it's important to keep track of your counts, right? So he's at 8 powder snows. It's 7. He baits me. So he's basically at 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 off of the energy ball. 7. So this could be the energy ball. He's at it. It's just a weather ball. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Catch on the Drapion. And this should be the energy ball we're catching. So although he double baited us, we made something out of it. Gets perhaps a little bit greedy here. Not throwing the Dragon Claw, because he could have taken us out with the Dragon Claw. But now he's going to throw it. Because the problem here is now I should be able to farm him all the way down. Versus I would have had to throw an Icicle Spear if he had just Dragon Clawed right away. So we're up energy. We're down a shield. The Abomasnow is very low. And there's a Roserade. So we're in a good spot. We've got all this energy. We just have to be weary of a catch. And I decided to just go back to back. Predicting that he wasn't going to instant swap. And we just farm down. Have the spear. Don't have to reveal. Excuse me. Don't have to reveal our third. And it's always nice in Silph or any sort of tournament format when you don't have to reveal your third, because I feel like it's one less thing for your opponent to go off of. We win games 1 and 2, and we switch up our lead to Drapion this game against the Lantern. So fairly neutral lead. We get the denial here on the first crunch. Defense fell as well. RNG in our favor. I'm going to shield the Thunderbolt. Really put on the pressure since Drapion can over-farm and potentially come out of this with residual energy. I get a shield back. I catch the Thunderbolt on my Quag. And if you look at their team, right, the Quag's pretty dang safe. Even against this Roserade, right? It's Poison Jab. So it doesn't have a very comfortable matchup against Quag. As a matter of fact, I think it just straight up loses to Quag. Except maybe if you like double bait in the 2 shield. I'm willing to call this. Like, if you want to take me out, that's fine. I've got a Drapion. I've got a Walrein. And I believe they're going straight Weather Ball. So this Quag is going to get to another Stone Edge. And now we're in a pretty dominant position. This will take them out. They're going to get minimal farm. And I combo with against the Lantern to catch him off guard and to not allow a Spark down on my Quag. And there is an Abomasnow in back, and this should be smooth sailing. Foolish Rise was hoping he would live that Weather Ball, but that was not the case. So this actually ends up being kind of close. But considering the Abomasnow threw right away, I knew it wasn't going to be able to bait me and get to an energy ball before I got to 2 Icicle Spears, right? because it would have been 4 plus 7. So it would have been 11 powder snows for energy ball plus icicle spear. Sorry, energy ball plus weather ball. And it would have only been 9 for me. So I wasn't probably thinking those exact numbers in my head in that brief moment. But I kind of made the assumption there's no way he gets to weather ball and energy ball before I get to 2 icicle spears. So we sweep round 3. We're on to round 4 against Vicious Skills. He's got a Macargo. He's got a Frostlass. He's got his own Ferrothorn. And I figure my Galv looks pretty dang good against his team. It's got like 4 positive matchups against Poly, Pharaoh, Fort, and Walrein. They safe swap the Macargo, which I think is a bit of a mistake. I think Macargo is too risky to safe swap. You're kind of banking on the fact that I didn't bring Quag. I make a mistake here and throw the Stone Edge this early. For some reason, I didn't think it would do as much as it did. And I could have overfarmed considerably more there, or undercharged more. So a bit of a mistake there from me. I'm willing to let this go. Quag has done his job. It took out the Macargo. I have better matchups here, and I really want to save the shields for Gengar. If you look at their team, right, no hard answer for Gengar. Gengar looks pretty dang safe. And the fact that they're staying in here tells me there's probably something weak to Galv in the back. So maybe the Poliwrath, maybe the Walrein. They shield, and it is the Poliwrath. I go for the Discharge, which I guess is the safe play, right? Because I'm going to get to 2 here before he gets to 2. So I simply just shield this and get off my Discharge. And then we'll see if I decide to stay in or if I switch. I just stay in, force him to take me out. This Power Whip probably KOs from this range. Yep. And we have to reveal our 3rd, but that's fine. Shadow Claw down for the win. Game number 2 against Vicious Skills. Gal versus Ferrothorn again, right? In comes Fort. And I figure he's like, what I don't want to happen is come in Quag right away and then like go down a shield, or allow him to like bullet seed me down for a big farm. And he actually baits. He actually baits there. And I don't think there's any reason to bait if you're him, right? Because you know that you have a Ferrothorn. You know I'm waiting for the Ferrothorn. And this actually could not have wound up better. We only have 1 bullet seed of farm now for the Ferrothorn, and we have an Earthquake stored, which is going to hurt. Earthquake takes out a big chunk, puts it like much closer to lunge range. And we do have 2 Volt Switches stored, I think. I decided to just throw the lunge right away to get it off before a Power Whip, even though it's not technically ideal timing. In comes Frost, and we just had the alignment. A little bit of desync there, so the Frostlass gets off its move first. I throw a punch here just to try and get shields, because if he gets to 2 avalanches before I throw a move, it kind of puts me in a weird spot where I'm shieldless. So now I probably just let this go, because then I get 1 Volt Switch, and then I'm only 1 Volt Switch away from a lunge, and the Ferrothorn is really low. And we will take this one, G to the G. So up 2-0 against Vicious Skills here in round number 4. And now it's game 3. So once again in Silph, even if you win the first 2 games, you still play the 3rd, because a 1-2, basically every game matters. Every game matters in Silph, which I didn't really know until last season. But it's like, for example, if you have a 17-4 as your overall battles won for a 6-1 tournament, that 17-4 will count for a lot more ranking than, for example, a 12 and a 9 6-1. Is that the right math? No, no. You can't be 12 and 9 for a 6-1. So a 14 7 6-1. Can you be 12 and 9? Yeah, you could, right? That's the lowest because you would have 6 2 1s and then 1 0 3. So yeah, you can be 12 and 9. So every battle does matter, which I didn't know as we land the Shadow Ball. And this is game over. We landed the Shadow Ball in Walrein. And we've got a Quag waiting. Oh, wait, no. Our Quag is super low, but it has a move? Oh, my God. I remember how this plays out. I was such a troll here. I was such a troll. I just sacked my Galv. And then I did one Mud Shot and the Earthquake. This was so unnecessary. Actually, no, I take it back. I take it back. Let's see if I can I'm getting too loud for the levels. Okay, we're going to re-look at this game. This was not a troll. This was the right play. Okay. So this was the lead, right? I stored the Stone Edge and I aggressively swapped my Gengar and my opponent was a little bit slow to react. I'm going to bait the Shadow Punch here. And I am actually going to shield because I know I can get to a Shadow Ball. I do desync here, so I end up throwing right away because otherwise the Walrein would have won CMP since I was a turn behind. Boom, land the Shadow Ball. In comes Cargo. I do get off the Shadow Ball. And here's what I was thinking. I wasn't sure if my Quag was at 1 HP. Because if my Quag is at 1 HP, the move from Macargo could KO through the shield. So I come in Galv. Macargo cannot double up on moves. And it allows my Quag to get off this Earthquake. So at first I was watching that. I thought I was like trolling or something. But no, that was actually, I think, the right play. You know, my Quag might have been at like 2 or 3 HP. So maybe unnecessary as well. But that's just what I was thinking in the moment. All right. Walrein versus Pharaoh. This is round 5, right? This is against Migo. So we make a nice catch on the Power Whip. Here to start things off. In comes Quag. And this was kind of the strategy behind this team, right? Swap the Drapion to lure out the Quag. Galv roams free and back. Because if you look at his team, right, there's really no answer for Galv other than this Quag. I'm like, you know what? I'll shield. I'll force you to shield here if you want to keep switch. Crunch, and he actually gives me switch, which is interesting. So now I've got my Quag against this Walrein. Oh, what am I talking about? I've got my Walrein on this Walrein, but I give up switch because at this point my Galv is like the win con. So I kind of just sacrificed my Walrein, I guess, which might be a misplay. I think I just wanted to get that shield though. Have to let this go. Is Drapion healthy enough? Yes, okay. So Drapion's healthy enough where it's not going to get farmed down. So I simply put in the Drapion to eat a Power Whip, to just eat energy. Now the Pharaoh should be dry. I'm going to win CMP here. And if he decides to shield, I can safely let this Power Whip go. He no shields. This Walrein is awfully low. Or getting awfully low. I have to make a call here. I'm going to call it's an Icicle Spear. We make the right call. I sneak in a Volt Switch, which is huge. And that should seal the deal here. My lose con was him landing an Earthquake. So I had to make kind of a 50-50 call that he wasn't going to go for an Earthquake there. Drapion into Galv. Very close game one against Migo, who I believe is a fan of the channel, if I'm not mistaken. Shout out to Migo. Mama told me not to say word. 17.5, same color t-shirt. Mama told me. 75, same color t-shirt. 1995, 2005. I'm totally messing up the lyrics, but that's t-shirt by Migos. I used to know like all the words to that song in college. Anyway, we're in a good situation here. Ferrothorn, a really strong response to Walrein. Walrein is going to outpace, so I think Walrein can actually win this matchup in the 2s. But Pharaoh should win in the 0s and the 1s. And if you guys are ever not sure what I mean when I say like those 0s, the 1s, and the 2s, it's like the 0 shield scenario. So that all that means is if both players commit 0 shields, then one Pokemon would win. If both players commit 1 shield, that would be the 1s. If both players commit 2 shields, that'd be the 2s. So we're up a shield now with our Walrein, and Walrein up a shield is so good. He was 1 short on the catch, but he might have actually caught that. I'm willing to tank the Earthquake because I know there could be a move that does more and actually get baited, which is amazing for me. So I'm thinking maybe there's like a Noctowl? No, Drapion. But this is good too. Just go straight for the EQ. Our opponent kind of knows it's over, so it doesn't bother throwing the move. And Walrein just swept the whole team. Jeez Louise. Walrein's so strong. Has a great move set. Okay, tough lead here, but we do have 2 answers. And they swap their Galv into our Walrein. And this, as you'll see, is not a very comfortable matchup for the Galv. These Icicle Spears hurt. I've already gotten a shield. And I sneak. So I'm going to commit my own shield. He does lunge me. Very nice. Bait. I do build up to the Earthquake to potentially threaten the second shield here. I don't get the second shield. So nice call by him, but I'm going to get to another Icicle Spear anyway. I forced the last shield. So this Galv has a ton of energy, but we're willing to sacrifice our own Galv because we know it's matched up against the Quag anyway. And the Volt Switch sneak through actually allows me to farm down before taking a second one. So definitely lucky there on my part. And now we've got Pharaoh up a shield. And this is not a good matchup for Ferrothorn, but because we have access to Thunder, we should be able to 2-shot this Drapion. And also because we started just a tiny bit ahead on energy because we swapped first, we should get to 2 Thunders before they get to 3 Crunches. And I'm actually willing to take this second Crunch, right? Because I know it's not going to hurt as much as an Earthquake from Quag. And now I still have a shield, and this Quag will not be able to Mudshot me down. They go for the move. That's perfectly fine. Quag's cheapest move is Stone Edge for 55 energy, so we know that you cannot double up on moves that are over 50 energy. So I can safely undertap and get off my Power Whip. And now we're on to the finals. Mr. Elitio. Just kidding. Elite. A teammate of mine on Jim Breaker's Team USA. Consistently towards the top of the Go Battle League leaderboards. And not top like, oh, he's on the leaderboard. Like top 10, top 15, top 30. Yeah, terrific battler. Has been killing it for us in Gym Breakers. And I don't really keep track of like my record against people, but I think definitely has beaten me more times than I've beaten him. And here we go. He was undefeated at this point. I'm trying to stop him from sweeping the tournament. As we know, I have 1 loss. He swaps the Fortress, and this is where Gengar can really shine because Gengar is a really solid response to Fortress. And a lot of people like to use Fortress as a safe swap in this meta. But it is not a very comfortable matchup. He does go straight for the Earthquake. I thought he was almost certainly going to bait, but nicely done. I decided to come in with my Galv. Because he Earthquaked, I know I can overfarm a little bit. I'm not really afraid of taking a mirror shot. My Galv is pretty safe except for the Crustle. I store a move, and now I'm going to try and sweep with the Quag. We're going to shield here. Very nice bait with the Ice Punch. Earthquake does so much to Shadow Poly. It doesn't quite one-shot, but it puts it into like Mudshot downrange. He makes the right play. He shields. I did get the pause there, which is unfortunate. Ice Punch. He gets off another move. I'm really hoping this isn't a Dynamic Punch. It's just an Ice Punch. So I overfarm a little bit more before another Ice Punch. Now I EQ, it KOs. Dedenne now should have the play rough, but look at that, it doesn't KO. And in the moment, I was like, what the heck just happened? Like, why did he undercharge that? And I messaged him after the game what happened. And he said when he was like swiping, his app closed. And he missed a bunch of the bubbles because of that. And unfortunately, like, if it was lag that caused that, like, that would probably be disputable. But it's just a really sucky situation, right? And here's the thing. I think he wins that if it's not for the lag. But my Galv did have a move stored. And I believe a discharge does about 30% to Dedenne. So I don't think I for sure lose. I think it would have been extremely close. It would have come down to whether this Dedenne, let's see what health it's at. So basically, from this health, would the Dedenne have lived 2 moves from Galv and 3 Volt Switches? If it lives 2 moves and 3 Volt Switches, it wins. I think it's close. I think it's a tough call. Maybe someone can do the math and add up with PV Poke the damage that took place, and they can tell us whether that Dedenne would have lived 2 moves and 3 Volt Switches from Galv. Anyway, all right. Game number 2. Unfortunate way to end game number 1. With his app failing. Here we go. Pharaoh into Poliwrath. Surprisingly, I believe Poly actually wins this matchup in the ones. Maybe I'm making things up. Yeah, I'm probably making things up, right? Because the Power Whip KOs. And I think I lived the DP. So maybe it's like only the 2 shields Poly wins. I thought Poly wins some matchup here. We're going to double shield here. We get both shields off of him. We hard swap Gengar. This is going to be an Ice Punch. It's going to hurt. But we tank it. In comes Fort, and I do get off the Shadow Ball. So I'm not sure that was the right play by him, because this is going to hurt the Fort quite a bit. And I'm going to go for a huge Mud Shot down. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm predicting Roserade and back, maybe? So I'm willing to tank this energy on my Pharaoh and then Mud Shot down. And this should only be a mirror shot. Future Rise liking past Rise's plays. And there is a Dedenne in back. I'm conscientious of the swap, so I just wait a few Mud Shots. He swaps. Stone Edge should be enough here. And then we get to the EQ. So a fairly comfortable win here in game number 2. Yeah, if I had taken all that damage from the fort on my Quag, might have been a little bit less comfortable. But yeah, definitely favorable alignment. We get another good lead. Game 3 here. Staying in for some reason. Gonna chip and dip. Gonna throw another crunch. Okay, Rise. These are kind of weird plays, but let's see what happens. I get a shield. And then I swap Quag. And perhaps I was looking for shield advantage here for my Gengar, which once again is really strong against this team. I think I definitely had a favorable team comp here against Elite. This Gengar has really no hard check. And I kind of panic throw the Stone Edge here because the Bullet Seeds caught me off guard. Should have Earthquaked there. Will that Stone Edge cost me? It very well might. I swap in Drapion. I'm not sure if I can tank Weather Ball. I am thinking probably not. But at this point, I'm just going to try and save shields for Gengar. Lucky for me, 3 Shadow Claws KOs, so they don't get off the Weather Ball. And now we've got 2 shielded Gengar against the world. It's a Wall Rain. And he's down a shield, right? I'm just going straight for the Shadow Ball. I should get off 2 Shadow Balls before he gets off 3 Icicle Spear since I started ahead. I think either way, right? I would get there first. We're just going to punch the fort here because we've already landed the Shadow Ball and Wall Rain is in farm down range. I get the shield, and this actually works out perfectly because now we have a punch loaded because of the farm down. He had really no choice, right, but to shield. And we take the 3-0 in the final. So there you go, folks. Longer video, a Silph recap. I hope this inspires maybe some of you guys to try out Silph. Definitely a lot of unique picks, right? Some fun formats, and shows you can use a few spicy picks. I mean, Wall Rain is meta. Pharaoh, Gal, kind of meta. Quag, I'd say, is a little bit off meta. Shadow Drapion, kind of like that second tier meta, and then Gengar, fairly spicy. So it's not like any of these Pokemon are, I don't know, like wild spice, but they're all, if you're talking about just like open Great League, they're all, several of them are relatively spicy. So it shows you can have success with different mons in Silph formats, and that's why they're appealing to a lot of people. And it really tests your team building skills and your gameplay as well. So shout out to Party Panda for beating me. And good games to everyone that I faced in this tournament. I encourage you to join the Thunderdome tournament next month. Hope to see you there. Remind me to remind you guys next month when it happens. And all that said, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the content. Comment down below. All comments help us out. And all that said, thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.